Welcome to Becoming Superhuman. In this series, we'll be diving into what a human being is and what we are really capable of. You see, I don't think as humans that we are even scratching the surface of our potential. I believe the vast majority of us are operating at only about 10% of our potential, which is why we only use about 10% of our brains the majority of the time. Throughout history, there have been many people who've shown us that we are capable of more than we know. Whether it was a mother lifting a car off of her child, monks meditating throughout the night in snowy mountains with no shirt on, their body temperatures never dropping, or the martial arts master who cut through a speeding bullet in midair with his sword. We have all heard stories of people doing things that are seemingly impossible, but still, many of us don't even have enough self-belief to start our own businesses. And it is this very fear that comes from lack of self-knowledge which keeps us easily under control. You see, I believe it's our destiny to unlock our full capabilities. I believe it is our evolution. Even our very survival depends on it. I invite you to come down the rabbit hole with me as we explore what it means to become superhuman. As human beings, we like to identify and label things. This helps us to understand our world and each other. We even label ourselves. We give our children names, and if you ask someone, "Who are you?" they'll almost certainly tell you their name. But what is a name? It is nothing more than a collection of sounds. So ask yourself, is that who I am? A collection of sounds? The obvious answer is no. But then, who are you? You'll begin to think of ways to describe yourself, such as, I'm a poet, or I'm a student, or I'm a mother, etc. You'll describe what you enjoy doing and your character, but those are all just personality traits and habits. They can all be changed, and yet you will still exist. Here's where things get interesting. No one can tell you who you are. You have to realize, or some would say, remember it. It's as if who you are is deeply hidden under who you've become. You see, when we're born, scientists tell us that for the first 7 years of our lives, our brainwaves are in a state called theta, where we essentially download information from the world around us. We then use this information to determine who we are and what our world is like, how people treat each other, how much money they're supposed to have, what their capabilities are, etc. This means that whatever world we are born into, we literally become products of. If the world we are born into is damaged, we become damaged. If it is broken, we become broken by default. Even by the things we don't directly experience. Ever hear of the 100th monkey effect? It basically states that when a certain number of individuals in a species learn a new idea or action, there is a spontaneous transference of this new knowledge or ability throughout the species. There is increasingly more and more evidence to support this claim. Think about it. Those who grew up in poverty usually continue that cycle. Those who grew up affluent usually are always prosperous. Can this affect us physically? Before Roger Bannister ran a 4-minute mile, it was thought of as impossible. Many people had tried to do it and failed. However, immediately after he achieved this so-called impossible feat, dozens of people were able to replicate it. Think about that. Once they believed that it was possible, they were able to achieve it. The same is true of Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay. After they reached the summit of Mount Everest, which was previously considered impossible, several other climbers were able to replicate their success. Then there's perhaps one of the greatest indicators of our true capabilities of all, the placebo effect. The placebo effect, in a nutshell, is doctors giving patients a sugar pill and saying that it's a certain medication that will produce a certain effect, while giving other patients the actual medication. The patients who were given the sugar pills experienced the same effects as the patients that were given the actual medication. This has been successfully duplicated time and time again. In all of these examples, and there are many more, the limiting factor was the mind, or more specifically, the deeply ingrained beliefs. And if you ask me, it certainly begs the question, just what are we actually capable of? On the next episode of Becoming Superhuman, we'll be looking at the groundbreaking science that is shocking the foundations of our current reality. This revolutionary science is proving why things that we once deemed impossible may not be so far-fetched after all. It is known as quantum physics, and you won't want to miss it. This is the Modern Monk, helping you unleash your full potential. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. It helps it to get out to more people. And as always, I'll see you soon.